Alright, hello class. Let's get right into it again. This is our second video in Unit 3, and Unit 3 is titled The Corporate World. So Unit 1, we had Intro to Economics, the basic stuff like scarcity. Unit 2, we had Supply and Demand, which is figuring out why stuff costs, what stuff costs. And now we're getting to the corporate world. I believe that many students will appreciate this unit because you're finally going to understand more of what you see on the news. Because in reality, you don't see news anchors or newspaper articles talk about supply and demand. Now, as economics students, you guys understand the reasoning behind these prices, but this stuff is very straightforward. I think most students will enjoy this unit, and in particular, those of you going on to be businessmen and businesswomen, this unit in particular is for you. So our standard is the same from part 1 of this video series, compare different forms of business organizations. Our LEQ, we have 3 of them. What is a corporation? What does the corporate structure look like? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of corporations? All right, so here is just the Google definition of corporations. I'm going to expand on it a lot more. So a corporation is a type of business structure that is owned and operated by many people, but treated by law as though it were a person. So let me pause right there. So we have a sole proprietorship, okay? Owned by one person and treated like one person. We have a partnership, which is owned by 2 or more people. Remember, you could have 50 people in a partnership. And now we have corporations, which is a business structure, just like a sole proprietorship and partnership, that is owned and operated by many people, sometimes tens of thousands, if not millions of people. But it's treated by law as though it were a person. For instance, it can own property, pay taxes, make contracts, and so on, just like a sole proprietorship or partnership can. So you guys have in class the past couple of days, you've mistakenly been calling large corporations examples of sole proprietorships and partnerships. McDonald's, Walmart, Taco Bell, Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, these are all examples of corporations. I'm going to explain why here in just a moment. Now, one thing to understand is that unlike a sole proprietorship and partnership, I want you guys to understand corporations are like the complete opposite of sole proprietorships and partnerships. A corporation has a separate and distinct existence from its owners. So if I opened up Jared's Juice Bar, I am the owner operator. It is my business. What happens to the business affects me. Same thing with a partnership. However, a corporation has a separate and distinct existence from its owners. Now, you guys may be wondering now, what do you mean its owners? Corporations are owned by stockholders. So let me give you guys a heads up. I'm an owner of Google. I own Amazon. I own Walmart. I own Home Depot. I own Microsoft. I own Apple. I own the company that owns Taco Bell and KFC and Long John Silver's. I even own Nike, okay? I am an owner of all these corporations because I own shares of stock. Now, this is not the unit, unfortunately, where we talk about stock at, okay? We are going to be talking about stock a lot more later in the semester in Unit 5. But what you need to know is that stock represents ownership rights to a certain portion of the future profits and assets of the company that issues the stock. Whew, that is a mouthful. You may want to write that down, all right? So I own a very small portion of Google. I'm an owner of Google. Now here's the deal, guys. Do you think I have anything to do at all with the way Google runs its business? No, I have no idea what they're working on. I have no idea what they're doing way there in California. I don't know the next Android phone that's going to come out. They do not ask my opinion on anything. But basically, I give them money. I give them money by buying their stock because I believe that Google's a good company and they are going to be rewarding me greatly through increasing the value of their stock. Okay, so again, this is not the unit we go into stock. We will be talking about it more specifically later. So let me talk to you about the corporate structure. Most entrepreneurs do not start off as a corporation. Most entrepreneurs, the vast majority of entrepreneurs, start as sole proprietorships. A couple start as partnerships. It's only when sole proprietorships and partnerships grow or they want to get bigger, they want to expand, do they actually, the term is called incorporate. So the way corporate charters work is that you have to go to the state capital, which in this case is Tallahassee here in Florida, okay? There's a document, it's a lengthy document called the Articles of Incorporation. It's basically saying, hey, I want to open up a corporation. And in most cases, I want to convert my sole proprietorship or partnership into a corporation, okay? Once you do that, you get a corporate charter, which basically means you are now allowed to sell stock to raise money for your business. And we've done some examples of corporations: McDonald's, Walmart, Nike, and Yum. Quite a few of you love Taco Bell, Long John Silver's, KFC, Pizza Hut. You cannot own stocks in those companies because many people do not know there is another company called Yum. Yum is a very large company worldwide that owns all 4 or 5 of those businesses. Okay, so what does the corporate structure look like? So I would take a picture of this. I would write this down. This is a very important graphic, particularly the first 3 little bits. Don't worry so much about what's here in the middle. So guys, here's the deal. I am at the top of the food chain with Google and Walmart and Nike and Amazon. I own stock in these companies. Now, once every several years, we have to elect a board of directors. We get something in the mail or online showing people that are interested and qualified to be the board of directors, and we elect them. And after that, I have nothing to do with what's going on. Absolutely no idea. Once we elect the board of directors, they take care of everything else under the assumption they're going to be making me money. Now, here are 2 almost disturbing graphics I want to give you guys. So this is the proportion of business structures, and this is in America from 2005. So yes, it is several years old now, but I guarantee the percentages have not changed that much. Now, this over here in blue, if you guys can see this, about 70%, think about that, 7 out of 10 of all businesses in America are sole proprietorships, businesses owned by one person. Next to that, we have corporations. About 20% or so of all businesses are corporations. And finally, partnerships are the most rare type of business structure because, again, they are generally limited to fields like medicine, dentistry, law, and engineering. Okay, so that's the business structure. Let's look over here on the right. And this is the proportion of total business revenue for the same year. So you would think that, okay, well, sole proprietorships make up 70% of all business structures. Therefore, they should make about 70% of all revenue. That is not true. Look, guys, a sole proprietorship is like a small mom and pop coffee shop or restaurant. Compare that to a monster in like McDonald's or Amazon or Google, Walmart. In 2005, corporations were responsible for approximately 90% of all money earned in the United States. I want to say that again. Corporations are responsible for about 90% of all money earned, even though only 20% of all business structures are corporations. LEQ in review. Okay, a corporation is a type of business structure that's owned and operated by many people, but it's taxed as though it were a single person. The corporate structure can be located on slide 5, and the advantages and disadvantages are as follows. I am also going to be posting this exact same document on Moodle for easier browsing. Okay, so here are the advantages and disadvantages of, write it down if you need to. So I'm going to scroll down so you can get all of it. This is the same setup as the advantage and disadvantage for sole proprietorships and partnerships. Take a screenshot of it, get the notes down, whatever you need to do. Okay, so it's been a while since we've had some homework video extra credit. Now, as you guys know, I'm a huge Gator fan. Go Gators. So tomorrow in class, when I ring the bell at the beginning of class, right before bell work, I'm going to ring the bell and I'm going to say, "All eyes on me." Once I say that, I want you to stand up and give me a good old Gator chomp. So I don't care if you're an FSU fan. If you give me that silly little tomahawk chop, you're not getting any extra credit. Whether you like the Gators or not, if you want this extra credit, you've got to give me the Gator chomp tomorrow when I ring the bell and say, "I need all eyes on me." Thanks for watching the video. You guys take care.